What are the essential differences between AP Research and AP Seminar?
Well, some of the essential differences between the two classes are that in AP Seminar, you're mainly using resources that are provided for you, or ones that you find on your own locally, to form an argumentative essay. And some of the things that you learn in that class are different from what you learn in research, such as how to effectively use different elements of an argument, such as evidence and concession and rebuttal. Whereas in AP Research, you're mainly using academic articles that you find on your own time to synthesize a research question based on the research that you've already found. And from there, you use the research that you found to try to answer the question that has not been answered yet in the literature. And some of the things that you learn in that class are different from seminar in that you learn how to write different elements of an academic paper, such as introduction and literature review, and different parts of the body, such as the methodology, the discussion and conclusion, and implications.
Okay, go! So the essential differences between AP Research and AP Seminar are, well, basically everything. In AP Seminar, you do much smaller projects that last only a month, so you don't dive as deep into the material, whereas in AP Research, you spend an entire year researching a project, and you do it by yourself, so it's much more complicated, and you dive much deeper into the sources and the material. And in AP Research, you're coming up with a new theory or filling in a gap, something that's not discovered or researched already, whereas in AP Seminar, you're researching more to display an argument that you've come up for a previous question that you've posed. What are some of the biggest challenges in the course?
Well, some of the biggest challenges that I faced in my research were, first of all, developing a research question, because I found it difficult to find something that was both interesting, that I was willing to stick with, and that was relevant to the literature in my field. I wanted to find something that I would be passionate about, but that was also going to further the research that was already out there and that would be relevant and helpful to other people. So I found that difficult because I did not know how to find a gap or anything. So hopefully that is something that the seminar kids are learning this year and something that they will continue to learn in research next year.
Okay, so the biggest challenges of the course are basically overcoming the changes that occur between AP Seminar and AP Research, because when you go into AP Research, you have this knowledge that you formulated through AP Seminar that's not necessarily consistent between both classes. In AP Research, the biggest challenge for me personally was finding a gap, because I had no idea what that was or how to find it, so it took me forever to discover what it was and then go through the process of finding one that was both relevant and that I enjoyed. What skills did you learn through this course that you could take with you to college?
I definitely learned how to create it, like how to find a gap in the literature, which is something that I think is important for any academic paper, to make sure that it's relevant and that people are actually going to use this. I also think that learning parts of an academic paper are important, such as the introduction and literature review, which I didn't know was a thing at the time. Before I took this class, and then also learning how to develop a accurate methodology and how to discuss the implications of your research and how they will improve the field as a whole.
If I could start the year over, I would definitely spend more time working on the actual essay. I spent a lot of time researching because I was too scared to actually start attempting to write the actual essay, and that limited the amount of time I had to do the essay, which ended up causing me problems towards the end when I had to rush to finish. How did you decide your research project?
I started by focusing on something, an area that I was passionate about, and then I began to narrow down what I had found in the research already, and I was looking for a place that had not been researched yet, and luckily I was able to find a gap that was relevant and that would mean something for the future.
So AP Research taught me a lot of important things I can take to college, because basically this entire process of creating a research project and a research paper is essentially what we will be doing in college, and many of my peers won't have the same experience as I did taking this class, so I'll already be ahead of them when it comes to learning how to structure a paper and doing proper research and creating a methodology and all that other stuff, so fun times. What would you have done differently if you could start the year over?
If I could start the year over, I would definitely start my writing earlier and spend more time on each section, because I spent a lot of time researching and finding little that was relevant to my topic. So I would have started earlier so that I had time to figure out what I was going to do with each section and how I was going to find relevant sources. And that way, if something went wrong or if I found myself at a dead end, I would have more time to change it up and find things that were truly going to help me.
When I decided on a research question, I was mainly looking into three important things. First off, it had to be a gap that was relevant and something that I could research as a high school student. Secondly, I had to choose something that I was passionate about and something that I'd be interested in for the entire year. And third, it had to be sources that I could understand when I was reading, because if you don't understand the material, then you're not going to make it very far, obviously. So those are the three most important factors when it comes to selecting your research project.